Twin-Ergy. Okay, this dream, for whatever reason, gives me like a sister vibe. Not really, but just a little bit. I don't even know if that's where I got this title from. I like instantly when I had this dream, I knew I wanted to title this one Twin-Ergy. I don't know if this is something that I actually heard from the show itself, but I guess it makes sense because one of the channel songs that comes with this message is I got my own mind, I do my own style in my own time. And for whatever reason, the other channeled song is the theme song from the TV show Arthur, right? The cartoon Arthur. And specifically the part where it goes, it's a simple message and it comes from the heart. Just believe in yourself. That's the place to start. And I watched that show when I was younger, if like there was nothing else on. I was never a huge fan of Arthur. A lot of the characters kind of really got on my nerves. Even as a child, I found it slightly annoying. So I was not like really a huge fan of it, right? But this dream it makes no sense, but it's simple, right? It's not going to take long. So in this dream, there is this ceremony. And this has to be a really small town. It would have to be because, first of all, the ceremony itself, it made no sense. So they had all of the senior classes from year 2000 to year 2010. So I'm assuming it's showing me this because this group of collectives are individuals that graduated high school between the years of 2000 and 2010, right? Because those were the individuals that were at this ceremony. There was this divine feminine, and in the dream, the divine feminine was from the graduating class of 2010. And in this dream, it is that current time. It is 2010, right? So, and remember, like, time is not linear, especially when it comes to the dream world, the astral world. So in this dream, this divine feminine is sitting in the bleachers. And in this dream, she had already had a dream that night, like that night before. So she goes up to her parents and she says, "Hey, I had a dream that I was adopted. Is that true?" So her parents look at each other and then they just kind of sit there silent for a while. And then the dad is like, okay, she's graduating high school. She's getting ready to go off to college. We might as well tell her. So the dad tells her, yes, you were adopted. It was no big deal. Divine feminine didn't really freak out. There was something about she had always kind of felt that way. Like there was always like this inner knowing or this inner feeling of like not fitting in with her own family. So, I mean, not that they didn't love her. They didn't treat her just like their own. She grew up, she had siblings, and they treated her just like their other kids. So there was no difference. There was no like real clear indication or explanation as to why they decided to adopt her. She was the middle child in this family. She had an older sibling and a younger sibling. There was no explanation. It kind of just like, yeah, we decided to adopt and we adopted you. So she wasn't upset or anything. She just kind of walked off. It was really kind of like a nonchalant kind of moment for someone to have received such big news. But the other thing that was kind of like I said, I really don't believe in coincidences, right? But in the dream, at this ceremony, divine feminine's twin sister just so happens to be there. Now they're twins, so I guess it's not that big of a stretch that they would both be graduating the same year. But for this to be such a small town, it was just weird that her own sister was there and she never knew. So divine feminine's twin sister comes, she introduces herself. Now divine feminine's twin sister knows about divine feminine. As a matter of fact, their entire family, they know about divine feminine. Divine feminine is the only one who has no clue. So her twin sister tells her, yeah, I've always known I've had a twin. Mom told me years ago, we were the firstborn and mom, she didn't have any money. She didn't have any way to take care of us. There was no way she could afford two. So she gave one of us up. There was like no specific reason. It was nothing where like she was chosen or something, anything negative. Literally, the mom had to give up one of the twins. She couldn't afford two. And it was just like the luck of the draw. She just happened to choose divine feminine. But she was like, yeah, mom eventually, got on her feet. We do have other siblings. We have younger siblings. And she was like, hey, you should come meet them, all this and that. Now, in this dream, divine feminine is getting ready to go off to college, right? And there's some sort of significance about this being the time of her life where she really needs to step into her, like she needs to be her true self, right? She needs to be her true authentic self, right? She needs to show up as the real her. Like I said, this divine feminine has always felt different, never really fit in, not just with her family, just in general. And there's something about this time with her going off to college needing to be the time of her really expressing, like now that she has this newfound independence, this needing to be a time where she really expresses her true authentic self. So, okay, I woke up, and other than that dream having the obvious meaning, I really don't think this message is like, even when I had the dream, I never really thought that this message was for someone who has a hidden twin. Not that it couldn't happen, not that it's there have actually been real life stories of things like that. Wasn't there like a story of like three triplets and they were all male and one ended up finding one and then somehow the third one found them or something once they were all adults. So like things like this, they happen. But this dream to me, it gave like a much deeper feel, right? So I didn't really know what the channel message was. Normally when I wake up and I write my dream down and I take notes, the channel message comes down then. With this one, not so much. So I ended up going to the park. I ended up getting up early, going to the park. It's still like dawn, so it's still like half dark. It's just like first light outside, and I'm walking on the track, right? I go to the track, and there are 8 lanes on the track. Now this track is behind the high school, right? It's open to the public as long as, the kids aren't using it for practice. There's no water source anywhere nearby. So I'm walking on the track, and all of a sudden this frog hops across the track and literally stops right in the lane that I'm walking in. Like, it stops right in front of me. And I was like, okay, this is strange. Like, I have no idea where this frog came from, right? I have no idea where this frog came from. But I didn't really pay it any mind at that time, right? So I sit there and I went and I kept walking, And then as I was walking, that's when the channel message started to come, right? So I started taking notes, texting and putting things in my little notes app on my phone, started taking notes of like the downloads that I was getting. So then by the time I leave the park to go home, I leave the park to go home, I get out of my car and there is another frog in the driveway. And I'm like, okay, let me go inside and look up the spiritual meaning of frogs. Because first of all, I am not a frog. Amphibians, reptiles, I don't do none of that. I do none of it. So I was like, this is such a weird coincidence that twice in the same day I've crossed paths with frogs. So of course, like, there were different spiritual meanings of frogs, of being like good luck and fortune. I feel like no matter what you do, anytime you Google the spiritual meaning of an animal on Google, one of the answers is always going to be good luck and fortune. It's like a staple, right? But everything can't always mean that. But one of the things that really stood out to me was frogs being representatives of messengers, right? Of messengers between worlds, because frogs live in both water and on land, and water, of course, representing the spiritual, and then land representing the humanity, right? So I was like, okay, I'm going to go with that one because that's the one that makes the most sense to me. Okay, so the message that came down while I was walking was that there's a difference between a chosen one and a divine being, right? And I was like, okay, because like we hear this divine beings, chosen ones, divine being, chosen one, and we always use them interchangeably, right? We use them interchangeably. But literally the message that came down with this one is that there is a difference between chosen ones and divine beings, right? And the message that came down was like, divine beings are God's favorite, right? They're God's children, right? Chosen ones are more so ones that, let's say, like, you come down here and you have like this hard path full of lessons, but it's not negative, right? It might feel negative if you get stuck in the loop, if you have these lessons that you have to learn and you're not learning them, or you're allowing obsession to take over, so you're getting stuck in these karmic cycles. It feels negative, it feels bad, but it's not really bad, because once you learn the lesson and elevate, you have like beautiful things on the other side. It's up to you to get there. Like, no one's gonna do it for you. You got to save yourself. When it comes to like divine beings, the message was that your hardships aren't real, right? I'm not here to downplay what anyone is going through in life, right? If you have real life hardships, you are probably more of a chosen one, right? But the message that I got for divine beings is that your hardships are not real. They're literally all in your head, right? They're all in your head. So with the whole twin aspect for divine beings, you are your own twin flame. Okay. That is the message that I got when I was walking, is that you are your own twin flame. Okay. You are your other half, the side of you, right? It's almost like, how some people will have, they're like, oh, well, I've always wanted to travel, or I've always wanted to do this or get out and do that, or I've always wanted to be more bold and outspoken. Literally the side of you that you're afraid to explore, or like the side of you that lies dormant, either because of like fear, insecurities, feelings of unworthiness, is going to be different for everybody, right? But the side of you that lies dormant, that is your twin flame. That unlocking that side of you is going to be what's going to bring you in union with twin flame, which basically is like bringing you in union with yourself. It's taking you from this half to a whole, right? So another thing I kept hearing was north and south nodes. So tarot is a big thing. I think a lot of people really enjoy tarot. Now, I've said this once, twice. I don't know why I'm getting 3 times a lady, right? I've said this many times and I'll always repeat it. Do not make major life decisions based off tarot card readings for the public, right? Do not do that. Even if you're getting personal readings, take it with caution, right? Take everything with a grain of salt. But if you are someone that you enjoy tarot card readings, the message for you is to find a reader that does north and south nodes, right? Like, I think majority of readers do it based off sun sign, or they may just say this is for a Sagittarius, right? But that could be Sagittarius, sun, moon, or rising, right? And then sometimes people will do readings based off stelliums. Like, you look in your natal chart and find out which house and what sign you have a stellium in. And sometimes the reading may be pertaining to your stellium sign. It's all different. But I'm getting like, if you are a divine being that feels like you are on this twin flame journey, and you feel like you know your union is coming in. Like, I'm getting like it's so close you can taste it. You know that your person is like right around the corner, but you're still like, who is this person? This is for someone like who you don't know who your twin flame is. Or for some of you, you may have an idea, or you think someone is your twin flame, but that person is actually not your twin flame. I'm gonna talk about that in just a second, right? But definitely for someone who you feel like your twin flame is right around the corner, but you're like, what is taking so long for this person to come in? You need to listen to readings based off north and south nodes, okay? Because north and south nodes, first of all, they're opposites on the astrological wheel, but also I'm getting it's because the person that you think is your twin flame, especially if the person that you think is your twin flame, their sun sign is your opposite on the astrological wheel, right? Because I kept getting the Hermit and the Fool. And I was like, okay, they're not really opposites. I mean, they can be, not so much. The Hermit, we all know, is Virgo. You know, the Hermit is about introspection, that alone time, that needing to look within, go within. Whereas the Fool we look at as like the extrovert, right? The one that's outspoken, that's always ready for new opportunities. Now, the Fool is not really associated with a specific zodiac sign. Most often it's linked to Aquarius. Why? Because of that Aquarian and that Uranus energy, which is about like revolutionary forward thinking, and of course like the spontaneity. But in some aspects, and of course, like you guys know, for the major arcana that aren't linked to a specific zodiac sign, like I know like the Death is Scorpio, what is it? The Devil is Capricorn, the Chariot is Cancer, what is it? The High Priestess is Pisces, or is it Taurus? No, the Hierophant is Taurus. So for like, there are certain major arcanas that are linked to specific zodiac signs, but then there are other major arcana which aren't linked to a specific sign, but it could be many signs, and it all depends on where the card falls in the reading. Like depending on where you get this card and what the reading is talking about will determine what zodiac sign is more so being represented by that card at that time. So in this particular instance, we look at the Hermit as Virgo and the Fool as being Pisces, and it's about more so being the naive side of Pisces. Like Pisces are big dreamers. Everybody know Pisces are big dreamers, and the good thing about Pisces is if they have the courage to step out on that, they have the courage to be the Fool, they are actually very talented at bringing those dreams to fruition, right? But we're not talking about that. We're talking about it in the sense of Pisces being naive and sometimes living in this fantasy world, right? So we're talking about the Fool in terms of this person being naive, but also representing spontaneity and taking new chances, right? So it's like in this instance, the Hermit being the opposite of the Fool. So if you think about the astrological wheel, right? You have what, Capricorn, which is opposite of Cancer. You have, what is it? Give me another one. Scorpio, that's opposite of Taurus. You have, what is it? Sagittarius, that's opposite of Aquarius. You have not Taurus, I said Taurus and Scorpio. You have Leo, I'm sorry. You have Leo, that's opposite of Aquarius. Sagittarius is opposite of Gemini, right? So, okay, I don't know why. I'm getting like, okay, so I don't think anything happens for like, everything happens for a reason, right? Everything happens for a reason. I'm sorry, I misspoke. It is Leo that is opposite of Aquarius. Sagittarius is opposite of Gemini. I don't know. If you are a Sagittarius, and the person that's on your mind is an Aquarius, and in this instance, I'm speaking of sun signs, and in the terms of the astrological wheel, I'm speaking of sun signs. This could also be your moon, but whatever it is, their sign is your opposite, whether this be sun sign, moon sign, or rising sign. Whatever this person's sign is, this person's sign is opposite of yours, right? But if you are a Sagittarius and the person on your mind is an Aquarius is not opposite of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is opposite Gemini. So if you are a Sag sun and this person is an Aquarius sun, this is not for you. You are not a divine being. You are actually a chosen one, and that Aquarius, that actually is your twin flame. But if you are a divine being and you have someone on your mind that you feel like is your other half, and you just so happen to be a Leo, and the person that you think is your other half is an Aquarius, that person is not your twin flame. It is the qualities, right? It is the personality traits and the qualities that person, that Aquarius exhibit, right? That makes you feel like that's your person, because those are the qualities in you that are hidden or that are lying dormant, if that makes any sense, right? So if you are someone and you feel like there's a specific person on your mind that you feel like is your twin flame, and that person's sign is opposite of yours on the astrological wheel, that could be sun, moon, or rising, but they have to both. It has to either both be sun, both be moon, or both be rising. But if that person's sign is opposite of yours on the astrological wheel, that person is not your twin flame. It is the qualities that person is showing you, or that you see in that person, it's those qualities that are dormant in you, and that's why you're thinking it's that person, but it's not really that person. It's a fool's journey, right? It's a fool's journey. But like I said, the message that came through here is like, you are your own twin flame, and what you need to do, right? What you need to do is you need to focus on chakra cleansing, because I kept hearing stuck at the root, and I also kept hearing get to the root of the problem, and I was like, what root? What root are we talking about? What are we talking about, right? Your root chakra, because they say if one chakra is blocked, then it keeps the Kundalini energy from rising all the way up to the top, to the crown chakra, right? And since your root is the base chakra, if you're stuck or you have blockages at the root, you're not going anywhere. So especially if you're someone and you happen to be stuck in kind of like this fear-based survival mode mindset, You were stuck at the root chakra, and what you need to do is a cleansing. Now, this is what I was told when I first started my journey and I started my chakra cleansing, right? I was told, do not, because there are lots of wonderful frequencies and tunes that you can listen to clear your chakras. But I was told, like, not to clear them all at once, to do them one at a time, because some of them might require more focus. Some of them, like for a lot of people, the root chakra takes a little bit. Now, once you start getting up to like the third eye and the crown, of course, take the longest. Some people get stuck at the throat chakra for a while, right? But the root chakra takes a while to unblock. So you don't want to try to unblock everything, because you might unblock some of the other chakras and then the root chakra might still be blocked. And now you're going to cause like disalignment, right? So I was told to, when you do chakra cleansing, to start at the base and then work your way up. And then I also posted a short that was by Dr. Harrison, right? Dr. Harrison the fourth, he plays this tune, and you sit down, you're quiet. Laying down is better. But of course, if you're not somewhere where you can get on the floor and lay down, sitting is fine. But you sit really still, you close your eyes, you get into like this relaxed, peaceful state, and then you play the sound, and wherever you hear it in your body, that's where you are right now. So that's the chakra that you need to focus on. So if you hear it and you hear it in your root, then that's where you need to start. If you hear it and you hear it, let's say in your solar chakra or your sacral chakra or your heart chakra, then you're not blocked down there. That's where you need to focus on, right? So I absolutely love that. I use that from time to time just to kind of check where I'm at, because I feel like sometimes we fluctuate. There have been times where I've felt it in my third eye chakra, and then there have been times where I'll feel it and I'm back down in my throat. And depending upon what I might be going through in my personal life, there are times where I feel it and it's in my heart chakra. So it also depends on what you may be going through at that specific time, right? But for this one, I'm definitely hearing like the reason, like the separation that you feel in terms of like the twin flame separation, the separation that you feel is not separation from another person. You are separated from yourself, right? You are separate. Your lower self is separated from your higher self. And because you two are already one and the same, that's why you feel it so strongly. That's why you feel it so close. That's why you're literally in this energy of feeling like your person is right around the corner, because your person is within you. Always has, always will be. So the twin flame that you're looking for, that you're waiting to come in, baby, go to your nearest mirror and take a look, because it's you are your person, right? And like with the whole college thing, the only message I'm getting there is two things. One is like where college was supposed to be, where you found yourself, right? And that has a lot to do with your purpose, right? If you are a divine mean, if you are if you are a divine being, right, you definitely have a purpose. You came down here and you set up your own obstacles. You chose what obstacles you were going to go through before you came down here. So like this really should be a cakewalk to you. But of course, because like the matrix and everything that we go through is so heavy, not so much, right? Not so much. But your higher self is thinking this should be a cakewalk for you. But they're definitely watching you struggle. And it's all love. It's all love. It's nothing bad, right? But like there's something about when you went to college, right? That's where you were supposed to find yourself. That's where you were supposed to uncover your purpose. And that would have really healed a lot for you. Now, some people may have been like me, gone to college, chose the wrong major. Maybe you were choosing a major because for money or for future career prospects instead of going with your passion, right? But others, like let's say, for example, you graduated between 2000 and 2010, and maybe you didn't go to college. Maybe after high school, you were done. I'm getting like done. And you were like, I'm just going to work and make a life and make a living for myself. There's something about if you're thinking about going back to college, or if there's always something in your mind that's been lingering that you were like, oh, I always wish I would have done this, or I felt it might not even have to be college. Like it might not have to be college or trade school or any of that. If there's something in the back of your mind where you're like, I always wish I would have explored this, or I always wish I would have done that or pursued that, that's what you need to be doing. That is what you need to be doing. And like with everything going on right now, I could understand if you can't stop what you're doing to do it full time. If you could, Spirit is definitely going to pour into you. But I understand the need to be practical. Whatever that thing is that you've been wanting to do, even if you just make it a hobby for now, start doing it. Start doing it. Start working on it. Start practicing it. For somebody, start rehearsing it, whatever that may be. Because uncovering your purpose, uncovering your passion is all a part of the plan to allow you to come back into union with yourself, right? The love that you aspire to have is self-love, right? It's self-love. Now, if you want love, if you want another person, if you want a relationship, you can have that. You can 100% have that. But there's a short by the Mind of Bizzle. I think I'm going to upload that one tonight when I upload this one, where he talks about how do I say this? How you feel about yourself directly affects how you show up in relationships, right? So how can you show up and allow someone else to love you when you don't even love yourself, right? Self-love is the journey that you need to master. And once you master that, there are all sorts of high level soulmates that Spirit is waiting to bring to you. That love that you feel, that love that you want, that high level soulmate, that divine counterpart that you are waiting for Spirit to bring to you. Spirit is going to, I'm gonna like hand it to you gift wrap. I'm getting like silver platters. Spirit is gonna hand you this love on a silver platter. But the only thing they need you to do is to learn how to authentically love yourself first. Okay, you have to step into this Twin-Ergy. As always, y'all, if you made it this far, thank you for listening. Bye.